Thank you for being here. I'm so glad you're here today. Thank you for spending time with me. We're going to talk about bullying. I'm actually really excited to talk about this because I think a lot of people have experienced this. And so let's get to it. Today, this is my second video, which is really exciting for me. I have about 4 videos on my channels right now, which is awesome. So I'm making so much progress. And then this is the second video I'm shooting today. So that's very special to me because that means I'm living out what I said I would do. And this is being on YouTube, making videos, editing these videos, and I'm really excited to edit as well. So that's one positive thing for me. So I'm grateful for that. My partner is going out grocery shopping right now, so I'm grateful for that. I just thought about it because that means I have someone to help me out with that. And later on today, I'm going to grab my daughter. So, and I'm really grateful for that because she got to spend some time with her auntie, and that was awesome for her. I had my personal time, and now I get to go get her, and so I'm grateful. I'm living in testimony. I wanted to talk about this because this is a really important topic for a lot of people, and it's something I've experienced personally, and I believe I handled it a bit differently, and so I felt like it was worth sharing, and so I'm sharing it. And for me, I feel like bullying started from like really young. Like I remember being in middle school. I was in Nigeria, so let's start off with that. So I lived in Nigeria. I went to my very first school. I had a lot of friends there. I had so much fun. I felt like a leader in that school. I felt like I was one of the leading groups, and so one of the popular kids. And I had a lot of friends, and yeah, I really had a positive experience in that school. And I used to play with all the boys and girls, and I was really young though, so I'm thinking like this is primary school type thing, so I don't know what primary school because I haven't worked with that method for a long time, but like I'm gonna go with age and say like maybe like 6, 7, yeah, let's say that. Let's say maybe even 5, yeah, maybe like that. But then I switched schools to a different school. In this school, I did not have the best experience there. There I had 2 friends, they were girls, and that was it. And I felt particularly picked on by the more popular girl in school who was like leading the group and like friends with most of the people. And so, yeah, and I felt particularly picked on by her. But I think it was just really just one incident of me. I think at that point you get to like, if you got like the highest grade in something, you get to be the leader of like this cleaning activity. That's literally what it was, and so I was the leader of that. And I think somehow she like manipulated me or like bullied me into like cleaning instead of like, you know, other things. And then I do believe she would tell people not to talk to me, that sort of thing. But I definitely in that school overall just felt left out. I didn't really feel included in my cohort group, in my class. And so, and the 2 girls, but the thing is, again, I had this safe space with the 2 girls that I was friends with, and I felt very safe with them. And I do remember telling them that I was leaving Nigeria to go to Canada, and I was just like, oh, I'm going to miss you guys so much. The first school that I'm talking about is called EVA. That was like a really good school. This was in Urumi. This was like, I had a great time there, and like it felt like there was no separation. All the kids were playing as one, the boys and the girls were playing as one. So that was a great time. And the other school I'm talking about is called Ufwa. That's the other school I went to in Nigeria, and this was the school where yeah, I just didn't fit in, and I only really had, I felt like out of the whole school I had like 2 friends, and then the one girl in my class that was leading the rest of the group was just like, I don't like you and I'm going to pick on you. That's what it felt like. But I really did feel like, honestly, I was fine, and I was happy when I was playing with my friends. Like the ones that I did connect with, I was just so happy when I was playing with them, and so I felt great in that moment. And then I moved to Canada. I moved to Canada in 2002, March 2002. So I came here in grade 5. So I started school in Canada in grade 5, and of course, coming from Nigeria to Canada, that is, you know, coming from an African country to a Western country. That was definitely a move for me. And it was a shift for me in schooling as well. My sister had to go back a grade because we came like at the end of the school year, because school ends around like June. Yeah. And so we came in like May, so she couldn't go to high school. She was supposed to be in high school, so they kept her in grade 8. And I was supposed to be in grade 5, and they kept me in grade 5. I believe I was kept in the right grade. Yeah, so it definitely got bullied there, where I got into a fight where this girl was making fun of my sister's hair, being made fun of for my accent. I remember just many, and this is, okay, so I'm just in grade 5 here. I just moved to Canada because I was fast forwarded in my head to like just people making fun of my hair, like your weave is not straight. This was in grade 8 though. But yeah, in grade 5, definitely the language barrier. I didn't feel like I fit in. I used to hang out, I'll never forget, I used to hang out, we had portables, and I would hang out behind a tree in front of my class so that I was just really close when the bell rang. Okay, I didn't like winter, and so I was like, we had to go out during winter. It was freezing cold, and then I had 0 friends to play with, and then so I would hang out behind a tree. And one time I had this binder, and it was a Pokemon binder, and I didn't like it because I was like, Mom, like I don't like Pokemons. And then, but the colors were really pretty because it was like reddish and oranges, but it was still very warm because it was a Charmander. I think that's a particular one. It was like a fire one, right? So the colors of the binder were really warm. So I had it, and I was just like holding my binder out in the cold, and these boys like ran by. They were like, I like your binder. And I was like, thank you. And so I just felt really like, thank you. Thank you for accepting me. But yeah, it was like, that was like a good moment because it was just like, thank you for seeing that and accepting me. So I felt happy. But yeah, just overall, I had no friends. So all through, because, well, think of it this way, that March, April, May, June, I just hung up on myself essentially behind a tree. I remember this girl would try to like trick me out of my snacks. She'd be like, oh, it doesn't taste good. Oh, you wouldn't like it. Can I have it? I'm just like, no. I want to try this really foreign snack here, okay? So like, you know, and I had a thick accent, and I really don't remember what I sounded like. I do hope to one day come across the video, because there is no video, no recording anywhere, but I don't remember what I sounded like. But I definitely, had an accent, and so kids took advantage of that. And yeah, I remember this particular time we were sitting in line for like some kids activity thing, and this girl was sitting in front of me, and she started talking about making fun of my sister's hair and how my sister would dress and what we looked like. And you know, I was like, you know, probably like, shut up, no, that's not true. And then she'd make fun of my accent. And then I remember one day after school, she literally jumped me. Like, I was going home, I was in front of the fence, like, and then she like, get up! Oh, fire! That's what it felt like. But like, I really did feel attacked because I really did not expect that. And I did not have any inkling. I did not know people just freaking like, I'm like, that's wild. Y'all Canadians act like this? Y'all just out here fighting people? That's wild, man. That's some Canadian shit. But yeah, because for me it was like unexpected, but she really attacked me and fought me physically. Like, we were on the floor hitting blows, like physical fight. I remember going to the principal's office. I do believe I cried because I was like, I don't know what even happened. I don't know, you know, I don't know. But yeah, so that happened. And then I switched school. No, and then I finally made a friend. Yeah, I made a friend in grade 6, and it was just this one girl, and she was my friend, and we really had a great time, and we would hang out together. And I remember that I joined this dancing group, and so when I joined the dancing group, we would hang out because she didn't have any friends either. I'm wondering now if she just came from a different country as well. I don't remember, but I do believe so, and I don't believe, because I don't think we spoke much. And I don't like, no, like we spoke and like we were true friends and stuff, but like, I feel like she did have an accent, but like for me, I guess I really hear it. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna ask her. She's on my Instagram. We're gonna have to, I haven't, like, since I added her on Instagram, we haven't said, hey, like, what's up? Because once we became friends, it was just the two of us, and then I joined the dance group, and so I would have to practice at lunch, and she was like, girl, like, you know, I got no friends, like, I need you, where you at? And I was like, I got other friends now, I'm dancing. But no, I would just tell her that, you know, I was busy, and like I joined the dance group and da. And at that point, I made a friend doing my dance group because she was African. Her mom and my mom ended up knowing each other outside of school. It's like, oh, our daughters go to the same school, and so I became friends with her. And we have pictures from that dance, but it's gonna be a challenge to pull those out. But yeah, and I remember we danced to Buffalo Soldier, Born in America. Why yo yo, why yo yo, why yo yo, why yo. Memories. So we danced to that song, and yeah, it was our teacher, Mr. Reed, that like helped us. And I think I joined, by the way, because it was I could be inside during cold seasons, because it was cold at that time, and I was like, oh, you mean I can join? Oh, okay, I'm in. So I think that was why I joined. But it did tear apart this little friendship of mine, and so that was unfortunate. And then I started like hanging around this other girl. We're still friends till today. Oh my gosh, yeah. And again, the other girl as well. We're not friends, but we did reconnect recently. But so I met with this new friend. She was African, and so I started hanging out with her. I didn't feel included in her group or anything. I definitely did it more to be around people, to hang around people, but she was definitely part of the cool kids, and she was such a cool leader. Like, she was like the leader. I would say she was one of the leaders of the groups. Mind you, we're in grade 6 at this point. Yeah, grade 6, 7 at this point. And I'll never forget this story where these girls were talking about lyrics. They were talking about, oh, I want to learn the lyrics of this song, and me being like, what are lyrics? What is a lyric? What, like, you know, just being like, you know, trying to integrate, figuring out what lyrics was and all that stuff. And but yeah, it was nice. I was really grateful for her because, again, like, she allowed me into her group, and she was just so friendly, and she has such high energy that, like, you know, I just, whenever I was around her, I just felt cool. But when she wasn't there, it didn't feel like my group, but like, you know, I wanted to be in a group, and I wanted to be a part of that group, and so it was like, okay. And then I moved schools in grade 7, which was sad. But yeah, in that school, it was just the idea of, like, I was definitely in a group there. I was there, sorry, I moved schools in grade 8, and I was in a different school for grade 8, but I had a group at that point, and I was being bullied, and I was that school where St. Margaret's, where I was being bullied, but at the same time, I ended up sort of making friends, and then it was that idea of, like, there's this group again out here that's bullying you, but then, you know, you have your little friend groups, and how do you feel about that friend group? And I didn't feel included in that, or I didn't feel a part of that friend group. And then switching schools in grade 8, while in grade 8, that was when I was like, yeah, I was starting to see boys. And I had a few crushes, but like nothing, I don't think, happened with anyone. And this is a school where I was there for a year. Again, everyone had known each other prior to, and so I felt like my mom had mentioned this as well, because she's like, yeah, you do have a challenging time making friends. And so when she was very aware of that, making me switch schools, and she made sure she absolutely had to. And so when I switched schools in grade 8, I was just finally starting to fit in grade 7. So I was very sad that I had to go. But, you know, we moved, and so I had to go to a new area. And yeah, so I ended up in grade 8 in this school, and the group that I ended up hanging out with there, I couldn't have felt more different from them. And again, the things that stay with you. I remember one girl being like, and this was the group that I hung out with as like my friend group. She was like, oh, you're so bubbly, it's so annoying. Like, and then another girl like being like, why do you always say this thing, or why do you always do this thing? It's so annoying. So like that's something that, you know, I took away. And then the same, and they were into like anime. I was not into anime. I was just like very feminine, right? So like anime for me wasn't, I wasn't interested in that, and their style and energy was just like different from mine. And so I didn't quite feel like I fit into that group as well, but I just felt like I had to be a part of a group. And so in this case, I was a part of this group, but I didn't like this group, and I didn't feel like I fit in this group. Yeah, so there was that. And then in grade, and they were not the part of like the popular group. They were not, but which is like funny to think of that now, because it's grade, now I'm thinking of it, I'm like, oh, it's grade like 7 or 8. But yeah, those groups exist. And yeah. And I guess even at that point, I guess I could see that there were some girls that just looked more mature. Like I remember looking in grade 8 in school, and like I still have this image of this girl just being like more mature, and like probably, I think she had like boobs, and I was like, I feel like a grade 5. She looks like a grade 8, something like that. But just feeling more mature, I guess, than you actually are, if anything. So that was grade 8, and then moving to high school, I think that's where like probably I got into a few fights. I just made a video about this, about sort of what happened in high school. I don't want to say, I'm just gonna kind of speed through it, mostly because again, it wasn't too much, but this was the most significant things, because a lot of it is, I think, when it comes to bullying, just not feeling included. Because here in high school, I had a lot of I had friends, like not friends, I had one friend is really it. I had one friend, but like I was able to go into sort of different groups, not in a way where, those people that are cool with like everybody. No, that wasn't me. I was not cool with everybody. I was able to sort of go into a group and just like be there. You know what I mean? Like I'm not doing anything, I'm not saying much, just quietly there. More so like to have bodies around, to not physically feel alone. So like I'd say I used groups more for that, but I really came alive like in smaller settings. So like in high school I had one friend, but because I was like a part of track, and the guys in my grade were really cool and I really liked them, and the girls in my grade obviously were in track with me and were in class with me, so I could like kind of pop into their groups. I would get invited to some dinners sometimes, but like I said in my old video, I think my mom is, she didn't quite let me out much, and I had a hard time making friends like in school, inside of the classroom, until the few friends I did make and they would invite me out, I couldn't always go, and so I wouldn't get invited much, and when I did get invited, I didn't go. And so it was, like I remember having to beg to go to my best friends. Like I told my mom, I was like, she's my only friend. That was why I was allowed to go. So she was having like a party, and like, yeah, and she's like, my mom's like, you can go, but you have to be home at this time. And it's like, I had to leave her party early, I couldn't even, and that's one of the things, right? Like I think part of, like if I was able to stay at that party, and then help her clean up, or, you stay till the very end, you get to like hang out with people, and like, the group that stays last, they kind of, they have that extra thing that happens. So I couldn't be there for a lot of these extracurricular bonding. I couldn't be there for the extracurricular bonding. So I didn't feel like I bonded with too many people, but I wouldn't say people spoke negatively of me. I felt like I was, able to be in groups, and really being in track helped me a lot. And I spoke in my other video just now. Ooh, I can say it in my other video because I have other videos. Ooh. So in my other video, I was saying, like being in track, I was able to go on a field trip with my track and field relay team, which was like, woo, relay! That trip was amazing. I felt like I was part of that girl group, and they were great to me. They did not bully me. No one came out. I felt like I could go home and not be bullied by the people from school. Now, I did have issues with my dad, so that's another thing. But I could go home and not be bullied by the people from school, and that was important. But overall, I in like grade 9 or so, I think one girl, it was the older girls that really just did not like me. I found me and my friend, my one friend, like the two of us, I don't know, and that's the thing about your reality, right? I don't know if other girls in my grade felt bullied, but it really, really felt like it was just the two of us being bullied by the older girls. But the older girls felt like we gave them a look. Honestly, all of the bullying I experienced and all of the hate and negativity stemmed from getting a negative look. They would say we had a look sort of like this. Like, imagine looking at someone and just being like something like that. Like I believe that's literally because it was these girls, maybe like 5 girls above me in grades, and then later on, upon actually making these videos and talking about it, it was like, I don't feel like I bullied her, but you could say I bullied her because she was 1 grade younger than me. And then this girl that was, like 3 girls that were like a grade younger than me. If I were to connect with them now, I would ask them, maybe I was the one doing the bullying. I didn't feel like it. I felt like they knew more people around the school again. I felt like they were more popular. I think they had like a sibling who was in an older grade who was part of the girl maybe that bullied me. And so I don't know, but we ended up like, after we got so in grade 9, one girl was all like, we were in front of the school and they were like trying to find my other friend, and I was like, I came in and I was like, hey guys, like what's happening, like let's not fight. And they were like, who are you? We're not even trying to fight you. They were trying to fight my friend. But I was like, yeah, I want to like help my friend out. And so there was that fight that happened. And there was some girls in that group that later on, I remember saying to this girl, like, why do you want to fight me? Because she was trying to fight me and she was always giving me looks, I felt. And she was like, she had probably said something, I believe she said something to me or like tried to intimidate me before. And so I went to her and I was like, why are you trying to hate on me for it? Because I was like, why am I being bullied? And then finally, I think like there was one where this girl literally confronted me and was like, my friend said you're talking shit about her. And I was like, what? Like, I didn't do anything. And oh no, I was like, probably, yeah, well, who's your friend? I think is what I said, who's your friend? And she was like, well, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, well, like, let your friend speak for herself, you know, like, why are you all up in my face, you know? So I was like, and then I think we had sort of that little, like, confrontation, and that one was pretty intense, and then I was pushed on the locker ones, again, by one of these, like, groups of 5, So, but honestly, the more I think about it, the more I think, like, I wonder how much of it was, like, sort of created or intensified in my mind. Because, again, a lot of these were just, like, based on looks. Like, it was like, you looked at me, they would say I looked at them funny, and then I would say they looked at me funny, and then because of that, now we're, like, we don't like each other. And then I oftentimes would feel like they were coming at me to... they would say things or they would do things, which a lot of these things I don't even remember now. Like, so I like really wonder, but it feels like there was a pocket of my life that was like this like bullying. I feel like there was like 5 really intense incidents, which there was one where and this is the thing, the only one where I did get in a fight. I technically instigated it, though I felt the girls for like 2 years. I think they'd be like giving me looks. I think I'd heard things. I don't even know. And then, yeah, every time I saw them, it was just a negative energy. In this particular instance, they were like, because again, I felt like they didn't like me. And then I was like, they were physically in front of a door. I was trying to get through the door. And then I was like, please move. And they were like, no, and please move. No, I said it like 3 times. And then they like looked me up and down and then they moved. And then I was like, wow, that's rude. And I left, and then I was so angry as I was leaving. I was like boiling up. I was just like, how rude. And then I walked back and I was like, excuse you, like, you don't do that. But at the same time, maybe I asked her in a rude way to move, and that's why she just didn't move. Like, you know, maybe because I already felt like there was hatred from before, I already felt like I didn't like her. That was why I said it in a tone that she just, again, would not approve of, because she already doesn't like me, and B, it was already rude. And so, yeah, I really do wonder. And like with the girl that like pushed me in front of a locker, in that instance, I felt like we looked at each other and she owned it. But again, it's based off of a look. Maybe it was a mistake. It was a small hallway. There was people sitting down. They came in like a big group because, you got to come in like a group of 7 walking through a hallway that is already being taken up. So maybe it was a mistake and they just didn't want to, I don't know. Maybe they didn't even know they pushed me. I don't even know. I do remember one girl, the girl that I believe pushed me that day. I think we almost got into a fight one of these days. And I don't remember when we said it to each other, but we were literally like this. And it was like blah, blah, blah. And then the security came and everything. But it's really like, it's honestly hard to tell. But one thing I will say, through all these bullying and all these experiences, I've always had a certain sense of confidence, which has been so amazing and such a guiding force for me, because even though I felt like people didn't like me, or I felt bullied, or even if I was creating it, based off of my own projection, maybe they weren't bullying me and I felt they were bullying me, that sort of thing. But even if it was my own projection, I felt like even though I was bullied, or I felt like hated or disliked by some people in the world, I still really felt like, it felt to me like, I'm amazing. Why don't people love me? Like, that's what I was confused about. I was just like, I'm really truly an amazing person, and I feel like people should love me and everyone should be my best friends, and I want to be best friends with everybody, and that should be the thing. That's what I wanted. Okay, so it really didn't make sense to me, for me, because I really just wanted to be best friends with everybody. And so it was like odd to me that people didn't like me, or felt like I was rude, or felt like they would always call me stuck up. That's one thing. Like, and I think that's because, like, I would always hear, like, I guess one of the things you would hear, I guess, I don't know, but stuck up was what I would hear. And for that, though, I felt it was just because I really did beat to my own drum for the most part. Like, I did feel like a lot in high school, people do try to put on a mask or be fake, or to do things to please others or to please the older kids. And I often wouldn't do anything. I felt I would just be and I was just my own person, I felt. And so I think they sensed that, and they knew that, and they felt that. And maybe there were instances where I could have bowed down and I didn't, and so they were like, well, how dare you, sort of thing. And that's sort of what I think it was. But I really just feel like it's just a whole bunch of people in the space who don't understand a situation, and they're trying to understand it. That's how I see humans and teenagers alike. So there's no blame, and I really, I felt like I really truly wasn't an amazing person, and I need to just hold on to that and just continue to be myself and just continue to be amazing, because that's all I knew. Like, I couldn't understand the people and their actions towards me and who they were, but I knew that if I continued to just like be myself, then I would be okay, and so that's sort of what I took from it. But in that moment, it was definitely challenging, because I wanted more friends. Like, I wanted, to be best friends with like all of these people, and there were a lot of people that I thought were really cool in different ways. But I also think of it now that oftentimes, especially after we graduated, and I heard certain stories of like some people were like stealing to upkeep certain standards, and I was like, whoo, because I can be easily, I think I used to think that of myself, that I can be easily manipulated, but I don't think that's true anymore. Like, I think I do just beat to my own drum, because I feel if I were to be in that group, I could have turned to that route, right? But I didn't, and it was like, it sort of worked out in my favor. But it was challenging in that moment, but I really did feel like I had my head on right, and I felt like I understood, what I was there to do, and that was only a short period of time, and it's only a few people in the world that felt that way, and that I couldn't take it as like everything, even though it felt bad in that moment. So that's sort of how I felt about bullying. But my takeaway for this, I really just hope people understand that it's really just a small space in time that you get to be in, that you get to occupy. I'm gonna take a bite out of my burrito. This burrito is not very good, by the way. I bought it from this place many times, and somehow today is different. I'm pretty sure there's something I did differently maybe in my order. that resulted in this burrito being how it is. Because, yeah. But I'm pretty much almost done because I'm going to eat it anyways. There's many good aspects to it, no doubt. I do have the general belief now, though, that in order to be a bully, and we've heard this many times, these are hurting individuals who are experiencing great pain in their life and that require an outlet, and this is just one of their outlets. And so really, while it may be challenging to experience it, not internalizing it, seeking help, letting people know, understanding that it's not about you. I think that's the greatest thing I did, was I understood that it wasn't about me. Though it felt so personal, I was like, I'm too awesome, and clearly you may be hurting because I don't want to hurt you, and I don't want to fight, and I don't want to do any of this, and somehow we keep coming back here. So and yeah, but also recognizing the pockets of your life that are beautiful, and really just enjoying and indulging in those moments as well, because it's negative a lot of times, or it can be negative a lot of times, but not always. It's not always bad, and you can find the happy spaces and duplicate that any way you can. But yeah, it's unfortunate that bullying exists and that we do get bullied. But from what I've heard, honestly, it seems a lot of people have experienced this. A lot of people, and I'm just hoping that there aren't scarred people walking around everywhere, especially not for bullying, because I want them to understand it's just healing people trying to, or scarred people, hurt people trying to understand the world. And that you shouldn't carry that burden with you. You don't deserve that. Okay? I feel like I've said all I had to say. Yeah. If you have any comments, leave them below. But don't waste time leaving comments. Don't waste time leaving comments if it's not important and important to you. Make sure that it's worth your time. And like this if you like this. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm just very grateful to have done this.